What's going on, guys? Back today with another video. Today will be the first episode in what will probably turn into a series on training rotation. This is a topic that I've done a deep dive into lately as I try to learn to play golf. But I think this will provide a lot of value to anybody who's into like any of the rotational sports, golf, tennis, baseball, softball, anything like that. But as well as anybody else who just trains and moves regularly. Rotation is not something that is very common in the day-to-day life, and I see it butchered or sometimes completely excluded from a lot of training programs. So I think kind of doing a deep dive in how to properly train and assess rotation will provide a lot of value. I'll start today with talking about resisting rotation because that's one of the major functions of the core, and we want to learn to resist rotation so that when we go to try to produce it, we make sure the force goes through the proper channels. So I'll go through a couple exercises, a couple variations that I like to use to teach how to resist rotation. If you guys have any questions, as always, leave them down below, and we'll go ahead and hop into the video. So when I first go to teach somebody to resist rotation, shoulder taps is going to be one of my first variations. Big things I'm looking for here is we want to start in a good push-up position. You can see the neutral spine here, ribs are down, butt's tucked, and then the hands are sitting directly below the shoulders. From here, we're just going to alternate picking one hand up, touching the opposite shoulder. Okay. The whole goal is to maintain that neutral spine and resist the rotation throughout. So what we don't want to see is a lot of hip shift side to side. I'll go ahead and let the video play so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. If you want to make this a little bit easier, maybe you're just a beginner starting out, go ahead and bend the knees and start in a bear position. That'll go ahead and give you a shorter lever to work with and a little bit more stability. Or you can go ahead and put the hands up on a bench like an elevated surface and do an incline version, and that'll just make it less weight to bear. But you can see here, I'm doing a fairly good job not shifting side to side a lot, not a lot of movement, staying relatively stable and resisting the rotation with the reduced base of support. Once you've mastered the shoulder taps, we'll look to add a little bit of resistance, this time in the form of a kettlebell pull-through. Same principles apply, still in that push-up position, neutral spine, hands directly underneath the shoulders. Now we're going to we'll grab a kettlebell, set it up outside the hand, and then we'll look to take the opposite hand, reach under, and then pull it through to this side. Again, same thing as before. We're looking for as little shift of mass side to side as possible, as well as resisting the rotation once we pick up the hand. So I'll go ahead and show you now. So as this hand comes up, this whole right side of the body obviously wants to drop due to gravity because there's nothing holding it up. That's the job of your core to resist that. That's where the anti-rotation comes in. As you look side to side, again, not a lot of hip shift, not a lot of movement. We want to be as stable as possible, just moving through the upper body, pulling that kettlebell through. All right, the next variation we're going to go over is going to be an anti-rotation press. This is sometimes referred to as a Palloff press. What we're looking at on the setup here, again, we want to stand neutral spine, rib cage stacked over the pelvis. You want to be perpendicular to your cable stack with the hands middle of the chest, kind of right there in front of the sternum. As for the movement, we're just going to press the hands in and out just like this. Your whole goal here, again, is we're resisting rotation. So we want to make sure the hips and the rib cage stay facing forward as the cable is pulling us, in this case, to my left. The closer your hands are to the rib cage, the smaller the moment arm. So the less torque, the easier it'll be. And then as you get those hands out farther away, that cable is going to provide a heavier torque and it'll be harder to resist the rotation. If you want to make this easier, start with a light weight and just do some holds with the arms fully extended, and that way you can work on kind of isolating that hard portion of the range. Then you can start to move in and out and look to add a little bit of weight there. And the last variation I want to go over today, we're going to stick with that same anti-rotation cable press. Okay, we're going to add an isometric, meaning we just keep the arms straight and then hold that throughout the set. And now we're going to add a lateral side step to the movement. So the big difference here is whereas we were stabilizing with the lower body and then moving in and out, changing the moment arm with upper body previously, now we're just going to hold the upper body into that tough position and then add an element of movement with the lower body. Okay, so now we're going to force stabilization not only in two different planes, but from both ends of the core. I'll go ahead and show you what that looks like here. You can see the arms stay straight, and we're just moving side to side. You can take multiple steps out. I like to just go one step out, one step in, kind of back and forth. Again, you go to this, you can add as many reps and sets as you want to. The big thing that I see a lot of people screwing up is as they move out and the center of mass shifts, a lot of time these hands will lag out behind, and then once they get out, they'll have to pull the hands back in and try to keep them in line with the sternum. You want to resist that. You want to try to make sure that the hands stay in line with the sternum the whole time as you move in and out, just to make sure that you're getting the full effect of resisting that rotation. I hope this video helps. If you found it useful or you learned something, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. Other than that, though, play with these variations, see what you like, see what you don't like. Some of these can be fairly humbling, but whether you're just looking to add a little bit of rotation into your current training program, or if rotation is a big part of your sport, I think these variations will be very useful and provide you a lot of bang for your buck. So I'm interested to see what you think. Stay tuned for the rest of this series, and I will see y'all in the next video.